Oh my God, the sound.
I don't hear it, but I see it. Oh, here we go. Now I hear it.
That's because I had my thing in. That's weird. Hey, hey, everyone. Welcome to Random
Hello.
Hangout.
We have Mr. Phil Boyer has joined us. Hello, Phil.
Hey, Phil. Hey, right back at you. Hey, I'm coming to you today from lovely downtown Medina on the square. I always say that I live in Norman Rockwell's storybook town, and there it is. You can see our little gazebo right over there. And it's an absolutely
nice. I love the little town.
It's awesome. And it's a gorgeous summer day here in Cleveland, Ohio. It feels like a 70 something and breezy. So you're liable to see some headlights on my side.
That is always nice when you shine your headlights.
Absolutely. So anyway, I thought
it is 93 and stifling in North Carolina. The air is
you
so
know what's
thick,
making me wonder.
Cut it.
You could cut.
Yes, it's
like
very thick
cheese.
and humid. Yes,
anyway.
It's not comfortable at all. I'm sweating like a whore in church all day. And all you have to do is just walk outside to start sweating here. So I guess that's why we use that term a lot in the South, because it's just humid here.
Well, it's lovely here. It's not ratty. I have to tell you, it's not chilly at all, because clearly I'm not wearing any clothes here. But
yeah, definitely. You're half naked. But I think if I was there at 70 degrees, I would be cool, because I'm used to these 90s that we're experiencing here in North Carolina.
You would be a little bit cold. So, hey, you know what I put on my public sharing today? I put on that we were going to talk about, my friend came up with this awesome phrase years and years ago. She was a coach, and she came up with this phrase for the life of your business and the business of your life.
So I like that.
Isn't that wonderful? I love that. She came up with that.
Marvelous, darling, marvelous. You know what I shared today?
What?
I was watching the news, and this caught me really, really funny. You know, I laugh at the craziest things anyway. I was watching the news, and they were talking about poor children, but they didn't call them poor. They called them economically challenged. So now we can't say broke and we can't say poor. We have to say economically challenged. So I put on Facebook, and I wanted to hear from everyone. I wanted to hear them use the term economically challenged in a sentence and make it sound funny. Like, you know, you said, if I keep spending money at Starbucks, I'm going to be economically challenged.
Right.
So if you guys have some funny terms that you can use, the politically correct term, economically challenged, then I want to hear it. I want to see it, because to me that was hilarious. I kept making up sentences where economically challenged sound really funny. Like, you take your children to the store and they want you to buy whatever and everything, anything and everything, and you're like, no, honey, we can't buy that today. We are economically challenged.
I'll tell you what's making me economically challenged.
Yes. Hold on one second. My husband decided to interrupt my show. Yes,
oh,
dear.
Excellent.
I didn't switch your clicker. Girl Scouts honor. So he thinks I stole his clicker to the car because his battery isn't working the way that it should.
Oh, I thought you said pecker.
Pecker. No, I didn't switch his pecker either. Same old pecker. Here, hon, let me switch out your pecker. I like variety. Ooh, that would be cool.
What's that?
If you could do that, I just thought about that. Then you could like try out different styles and sizes and.
But like if they had, you know, like how women can do wigs.
Yeah, it would be like a Mr. Potato Head. You just plug it right in.
But yeah, but that would only be good for small guys because large guys can't make it smaller.
You could, if it's like a Mr. Potato Head, you just pop that bad boy off and
I'm
pop
talking
on another
for real. One. I'm talking for real, like pecker wigs.
Oh.
You can like just,
yeah.
You could just attach a different one. So like, let's say if you have a straight one and you want it to be curved, you could attach a curvy one.
There you go. Exactly. Just like wigs.
Oh my God. Did you see what Phil said? When you get
oh my God, I'm orgasmically challenged, Phil. Oh my God, I love that one. When you're not getting any, you're orgasmically challenged. We got to show that one on screen. I love that. Love that.
Funny.
Me. That's why I talk about sex so much. Those who aren't getting any, talk about it.
Talk about it. And that's why my advice to you, isn't it?
Do what?
That's why my advice to you ended up working, where I said, don't talk about it.
Exactly. If you stop talking about it, it will happen.
There you go. Isn't that kind of interesting?
It's the opposite of build it and they will come.
Hey, Albert. Welcome to the show.
Literally.
So nasty. So nasty.
All right, this is the Pecker Show. Pecker Wigs, the name of my new band. I love Phil's band names. I love when he makes our dirty comments into band names.
Actually, you know what I think we should
that
do?
Band. I would definitely go see Pecker Wigs.
You know what? You know what? I just got an awesome idea for Bizapalooza.
What?
I think all the content should have a song name, and then the person would have a band name.
Oh, wow. I like that. We have to get Phil to come up with really cool band names for us because he's really good at that.
I know. And I need stage names and band names. And then all the content has to be like a song name. Like, Lost and Lonely at the networking event.
I've got my hair pulled up today, and I don't like it. I look like a boy when I pull my hair up.
Yeah. There you go. That's the other one. There will be another one presentation. Let that hair down.
We do hair bands then.
Hair band.
We would need to do hair bands.
I'll have to figure out a way to hold this thing because I don't have my funky little stand. I don't have my cool little stand with me here.
Oh, yeah, you're going to just have to hold on to it.
I'm going to have to hold on to it.
Keep holding on. That's the new song by Pecker Wigs.
Or something around pushing.
About pushing?
Something around pushing.
Oh, like the Salt and Pepper song?
Yeah. Phil says he digs it. I wig it. I dig it.
Look, Kate, she came in just in the right of time, orgasmically challenged. I'm sure Kate is not orgasmically challenged because she has the stud Meister Phil Boyer in her household.
You know what I bet they do? Let's talk about them because they're not in the show.
Oh.
You know what I bet they do? I bet that Kate makes.
I got a feeling I'm going to be saying pineapples really soon, but go ahead.
I bet that what they do in their most secret time is that Phil has to come in like a rock star and he has to do like air guitar. And then
That would be so freaking sexy, I know.
right, actually, you know what I made my husband do way back when we were dating? You know, we were watching a band on TV or something, and then you know how the rock stars, when they're doing the guitar solo, they have that, we call it the pre-cum face. You know, it's like that.
So that's what you make your husband do?
I make him do air guitar with a pre-cum face. He'll kill me. Hopefully,
That's so funny.
He'll never see this.
I absolutely love it.
So, okay, so we're being very silly. What else is, hey, so I want to talk about, since you're down there in South Carolina, you guys have been like totally in the news.
I am in North Carolina. You always think I'm in South Carolina. I'm in North Carolina.
Okay, so what's going on over there? Do you have a Confederate flag, and are you taking it down?
I don't, and this really irks me, and I don't usually talk about politics, but since you brought it up, I'm going to tell you how I feel about this whole thing. Okay?
Yes.
I think the focus is in the wrong freaking place. I don't have a Confederate flag. I don't care to wave a Confederate flag, but obviously the Confederate flag did not kill those people. A mentally ill individual killed those people. So I think the focus, putting it on this flag and who waves the flag and who doesn't, and everybody wants to take the flags down, that's not solving the problem. We have an issue in America where our mentally ill people are not well taken care of. They're not getting the care that they need. These are mentally ill people who go into churches and shoot innocent people. And taking down Confederate flags is not going to solve that problem. You're still going to have mentally ill people who are, it's just like the kid was wearing a Gold's Gym t-shirt. Do we close all the Gold's Gyms now so that no one goes out and kills anyone? That doesn't even make sense. And I know what the flag represents, and I know they're doing it to make people feel warm and fuzzy and feel better and all of this kind of stuff, but that's not really solving the problem. The problem is that we need better care for the mentally ill. Bottom line. And that's my stance on it.
We just don't want to talk about it. I have a friend on my Facebook stream who's been posting a lot of comments and articles and all these different things. And there's even the CEO of a company, trying to think of which one it was, just did a whole rant on Twitter all about that kind of stuff. So, like, you know, really? We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about what's really going on. So let's talk about taking the flag down. And you know what?
Right, exactly.
You know, okay, so this isn't the same as the Confederate flag at all. But, you know, one of the things we have here in Medina, and I think we might have had it when you were here, we have all these international flags that they'll put up at some point. I don't know when it is, but they'll put up all these international flags. And one of the things that occurs to me is that, I mean, we don't take down the German flag because of the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think as someone who is an immigrant to this country, I'm very proud of my Serbian heritage, but that flag doesn't represent all the crappy stuff that's gone on and the wars that we've had in my country. It represents a history. It represents a variety of things. The last thing it represents are any assholes that are killing people.
Right, exactly. And just because the kid was holding a Confederate flag does not mean that that was the issue. That's not what made him go into a church and kill innocent people. He obviously has some mental illness. You know, something's gone on in his life, and there's just not enough resources available for the mentally ill to get help or feel like they have places to reach out. And I think that's a big part of the issue. It's not the flag, but I think instead of trying to solve the real problem, they're just trying to make people feel good. And they think, by taking this flag down, we're making a we're making a population feel better. by taking that down, but that's not solving any problems.
Agreed. And you know what I'm curious about is what the small business owners are going to do, right? Because I don't think that I heard some conversation around like if a government, like, you know, you were talking about license plates, and because license plate, you know, there's like an element that's free speech. And then there's like, if you wanted to have a Confederate flag, you can totally do that. That's free speech.
Right, but a lot of the stores are like stepping up, even eBay and Walmart and Sears, and a lot of those are saying, oh, we're not going to sell the Confederate flag anymore. And why don't these people like pull together and let's use the money for the sales of the Confederate flag to help improve our mental health system. Let's do something proactive besides taking down some flags. I mean, seriously, come up with something a little better and something that's actually going to solve a problem.
I agree completely. And I think that that's an issue that I have. You know, and this may not seem like it, but it's a real marketing conversation. As someone who does a lot of writing, I'm very, very sensitive to use and how we move messages forward. And one of the things that really gets me, and I have to say, I don't know if that's because I grew up in this country, but then there's a lot of me I realize in a lot of ways, as you know, that's very European.
Right. European and freeing and not bashful one single bit.
But you know, one of the things that I really, really worry about in terms of that create, like you're saying, we create these that aren't accurate, and the American culture over us. You're not, if you don't have an outpouring of outrage around this, but that's all it is. It's an outpouring of outrage. If you don't do that, then there's something wrong with you. Where at the same time, I'm like, I refuse. I have nothing to say about. I mean, clearly this is wrong, but it's like suddenly Facebook posts go up, and we feign concern.
Right.
And then the biggest criticism that Americans get from folks that I talk to that are European or Japanese, or like, you know, the few folks that I've had some interactions with, one of the biggest peeves they have is that when they talk to Americans, one of the things that they'll say is, why do you guys say things like, let's get together, and then you never call me?
Right.
Like, oh, that's
it's just a polite thing to say. But I will say this, I am very impressed with how Charleston as a city is handling this, because they aren't rioting. They aren't going in and tearing up the town and the other small businesses there for them to have to clean it up. They're actually bonding together as a city and supporting one another and trying to heal the city after this tragedy, and not creating more chaos and tragedy by rioting and things like that. So
it's really good.
I really do commend them as a city and the way that they are handling it, and that says a lot for that city.
It really does, because what it really does is keeps the focus on the correct conversation, because you know that if there was rioting or any of this other stuff, then those people would be made wrong. And look at them, and they're rioting and so on and so forth. You know, that
right, exactly. And then in the business aspect, you're hurting innocent small business people who have built their businesses and their livelihood in that town. You're just hurting them over something that one mentally ill person did, and that's not the right way to handle it. They are really handling it with a lot of grace. And I think that comes from being Southern. We try to act a lot more proper.
There is and there is a difference between like different Southerners, like Georgia Southerners versus Virginia Southerners and Carolinians. Or is there a difference between the North and the South Carolinians, or are you guys? Yes.
Yeah, there is. There's some difference. in the North and South Carolinians. And I think the further south you go, the deeper the accent gets, of course. But they have different traditions too. The further south you go, the more gone with the wind type style Southern person that you get. North Carolina has a lot of, we're Southern, but we kind of like to play on the edge of being Southern and, but really want to be a little Northern too. So, where from South Carolina down, they own it. They just completely own it. And I think North Carolina, we kind of ride the fence of being Southern or Northern. So, yeah, they just totally own it. Once you hit South Carolina, they own it.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, here in Ohio, we have several different cultures. Here in Cleveland, because Ohio looks like a shield, so if you divide it into quadrants, they're actually, if you were to put a cross right smack in the middle of Ohio like that, you would get a quadrant. And where I am in Cleveland, they tend to lean more northeastern, which is what I'm familiar with, being from Pennsylvania. And when you get down south and like towards like like beyond Columbus, Ohio, and let's say even in
Midwestern.
They actually are, yes, they're more Midwestern. And then when you go to Dayton, where they're close, you go to Dayton, Cincinnati, because they border on Kentucky, they tend to be more Southern.
Nice. So
they you know, the pace is a little bit slower. It's a little bit more laid back. So I think that's really interesting. Even so, if you have a business in these areas, or if you're selling to folks in these areas, you really want to be conscious of that.
Right, exactly. It's all the different cultures and the neighborhoods too. I mean, we have that too. Different neighborhoods are different. We have one city here where the Southern accent is totally different from any other Southern accent in North Carolina. In this one city, it's different. I can't even describe it. You have to actually go there and experience it. But you can tell it's just a whole different accent just in this one city. And I don't know why. Maybe someone from that city migrated in from somewhere else and the accent's mixed, and then a lot of the family lives there and this accent kind of grew in this one city. So, yeah, it's like totally different. Just in that one city, the whole Southern accent is different. But yeah, we have that too. Different regions, different places. Like if you go a little closer to like Charlotte is more of a melting pot. There's a lot of people from a lot of different places. There's a lot of Northerners in Charlotte who have moved to Charlotte. So Charlotte doesn't feel, even though it's further south of North Carolina, like it's probably one of our southernmost cities, it's actually a lot more northern, because when people from the north moved to North Carolina, a lot of them moved to Charlotte. There's a bigger city, there's bigger things there. But yeah, you find a lot of people like from Boston and New Jersey and New York are in the Charlotte area. So Charlotte's like totally different from like, I'm in a small town where we have a population of 4,000 people. So, this is like down home. Most of these people grew up with one another. We know each other. You have family names and everyone knows, the Joneses and the whatevers, it's all, because it's such a small town, you get a whole different feeling than what you get when you go to, a bigger city or whatever. You get a bigger city feel there in Charlotte and Raleigh too as well.
Excellent. So I want to know, before we close out today, have you had any bathroom epiphanies or any insights or anything exciting that you want to share with the folks?
I didn't. That was my share, and that was my bathroom epiphany about the flag. And then just my funny, crazy thing was that I still want to hear you guys use economically challenged in a funny sentence. I really do. That is it just cracked me up. I could not quit laughing this morning when I heard that. I'm like, seriously, we can't use, I'm from the South. We use the word broke and poor all the time. And now we're using economically challenged. Now I'm going to start using the word orgasmically challenged.
There you go.
Now that Phil brought that up, I'm going to really start using that one. So when my husband's not putting out I'm going to go to him and tell him I'm feeling a little orgasmically challenged.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very excited about
something fun, politically correct. So this was kind of a political type show, but we have a lot of political things going on right now that are affecting everyone. Small businesses, big businesses. It's affecting everyone right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. But the only thing that I had is I wanted to share that thing that Phil shared with us. Looks like there's a cool new way to use Google Hangouts.
Yeah, definitely. What did you find out?
Well, Phil sent it to me today, and I've started exploring it, and it's called crowdcast.io. So what's really cool is if I'm going to be checking it out for Business Palooza. Actually, Ron and I are going to be talking about this when we sign off from here, but definitely check that out. You can create online events, and there's chats, and there's questions, and you can see who's all attended. You can connect with them. So it looks like it's got lots and lots of awesomeness. Oh, and speaking of which, I'll tell you what made me laugh is the whole Taylor Swift and the Apple conversation.
Oh yeah,
Taylor Swift went out and
Taylor Swift to solve problems for them.
Yeah, right. And what's really funny is I was listening to the radio and they were talking about this. And basically what I think is really interesting is that so Apple now has this whole ad out using Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails talking about, contributing to the artist, talking about how there's going to be engagement. And I love the person that was on the radio because there was some tech guy and he's like, well, can we just acknowledge the fact that there's nothing new here? That basically Apple hasn't invented anything.
Right. I know, that's hilarious.
Right?
They always find they're going to turn it around to where they become the hero in this.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Phil's going to leave us with a great comment. I'm so economically challenged, I can't afford to pay attention. I love it.
That's awesome. Awesome.
That's the kind of stuff that makes me laugh. It's the little things. It seriously is.
It's the little things. There's a song called It's the Little Things. That's a lot of fun. So anyway,
I'll have to listen to that one.
Now that we've riled everybody up, we're going to actually get offline and leave you folks alone and get into talking about real work stuff. Right?
Oh, this should be fun. Yeah, we have to actually work.
We have to actually work, and we're going to...
We know you guys do too, so we appreciate you joining us.
I know. Wait a minute. I'm not ready to go yet because I have to flip something out here. How did I do this? Wait a minute. Outro. I have to open it. I got to let everybody... I have to let everybody out, lead them out. Let's see how that works. Share.
Let's see if you can make it happen.
Can I make it happen? Everyone have an awesome, awesome day. We love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And he did it.
Yeah. So I'm not technically challenged. I just had to pull my headset out because otherwise nobody would hear it.
We can make up a bunch of things about being challenged. That would be fun too.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.